Interested in the latest film releases? Stick around as we walk you through the best and the worst of vaguely this month-ish. This is Rated. Welcome to Rated, the show where we rant and rave about the films that came out at some point this year, as long as the actors have six-packs and Tom fancies one of the co-stars. I'm Georgia Copeland. You can follow me on Twitter here for annoying selfies from film premieres, including constantly reposting the picture of me and Ben Affleck struggling, along with unrealistic ways of how I'd tie up Chris Evans to a radiator and go to town on him. I'm going to pass you over to my co-host, Tom, if it's got a pulse.
I'll bang it.
Harvey, whose last three posts were about steak, feminism, and Donald Trump. A niche market, but there's something for everyone.
Our guest today is Ben Reilly, who we never screen tested, nor checked whether his claims that he's really into film is actually valid, or just the vivid imagination of a 12-year-old in a 30-year-old's body. But he owns the light rig, and we're stuck with him, with the impending "what the fuck are you filming at my pub at 3 a.m. rant, causing a legitimate but not totally unproven worry that it may be pornography. What's that?
It's an Iron Man.
Here's what's coming.
Disney's The Jungle Book, directed by Jon Favreau, shows exactly how to do CGI for the mass market, but also how to make a film that's got enough legs to last well into the next century.
With the Marvel treadmill still firmly underway, the latest installment of Captain America series, Civil War, follows this split of the superhero bromance, bringing a whopping £488 million worldwide only 6 days after release.
So if you haven't seen this already, I'm not quite sure what's wrong with you. Run the trailer.
Buck, do you remember me?
Your mom's name was Sarah. You used to wear newspapers in your shoes.
You're a wanted man.
I don't do that anymore.
Well, the people who think you did are coming right now. And they're not planning on taking you alive.
Captain, while a great many people see you as a hero, there are some who'd prefer the word vigilante. You've operated with unlimited power and no supervision. That's something the world can no longer tolerate.
I know how much Bucky means to you. Stay out of this one. Please. You'll only make this worse.
You saying you'll arrest me?
There will be consequences.
Captain, you seem a little defensive.
Well, it's been a long day.
If we can't accept limitations, we're no better than bad guys.
That's not the way I see it.
Sometimes I want to punch you in your perfect teeth.
I just want to make sure we consider all our options. Because people that shoot at you usually wind up shooting at me too.
You know what's about to happen. Do you really want to punch your way out of this?
What do we do?
We fight. Sorry, Tony. You know I wouldn't do this if I had any other choice. But he's my friend. So was I.
So before we start, Chris Evans. It's all that needs to be said.
From not another teen movie to this.
Jake Weiler.
It's the year of Evans.
It's the year of Evans, but it's the year of, you know, trying something new. You know, he was the Human Torch back in the day.
He was the Human Torch, and you know, it's very rare for any comic book character to play another comic book character and completely own the newer comic book characters that he's playing. I think most people pretty much forgot about the fact that Chris Evans even played the Human Torch.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think pretty much everyone's forgotten about the Fantastic Four films.
Yeah, I think pretty much so as well. And he's charismatic in the way he performs, and he makes Captain America. Like, reading it as a comic book fan, I was never into Captain America at all. I thought he was a bit dry, a bit bland, you know, a bit base. But I don't know whether it's the Russos bringing Captain America out, or maybe I think maybe it's a combination of the two. But Chris Evans has made Captain America his own, and he's actually a character that I actually want to root for.
I kind of preferred, in a weird way, Chris Evans as the Human Torch to Chris Evans as Captain America. And I think this is more to do with, as much as the physics are massively skewed in Fantastic Four, the physics in the Avengers films and all the Captain America films is a bit off. And this is very nerdy on my part. I've not read the comics.
I think maybe if you, from Not Another Teen movie, which to be honest I can't picture Chris Evans in another film apart from that, then he suits Johnny Storm a lot more. But Onward, I can't see anyone else in that role.
I was waiting for, in the original Fantastic Four, the little whipped cream scene. Johnny Storm. Johnny Storm with the whipped cream.
Did you know that it took something, I think it was like 2 or 3 years for Chris Evans to actually say yes to doing the Captain America
I heard that Robbie. We're
buddies.
Robbie told me. Yeah, Robbie told me that he actually convinced Chris Evans, but then I saw another interview where he's like, no, that wasn't the case.
No, a new interview where Chris is talking, I think it's with Chelsea Handler, they're all sitting around a table, and he does actually mention, he says that he was really apprehensive about taking the role because it was obviously such a massive role, and all Marvel contracts are 9 years, 9 films, sorry, where Chris was so apprehensive about it, he didn't want to do 9 films, he cut it down to 6. But the main reason that he took the role, was because he spoke to Robert Downey Jr., they've got the same agent, and he had a chat with him, and obviously Robert Downey Jr. had done, at this point, I think he'd done 2 Iron Mans at that point. Okay, so what we're actually here for is to talk about Captain America Civil War.
Yes, we are, Georgia.
I'm just going to go through a bit of a run through for people if you live under a rock and you don't really know what it's about.
We haven't seen this film.
Spoilers ahead.
There are spoilers ahead, but I don't know what's wrong with you in the first place.
Just do see the film, it's really good.
So the film obviously is based around the division between the Avengers. Obviously I know it's different, slightly different in the comic book, but within the film, to start off with, it's the Sokovia Accords, which is basically just like a legislation that says that the Avengers should be held accountable for everything.
It carries on from Age of Ultron.
Yeah, exactly, with the whole destruction of Sokovia, where shit went down.
Shit went down.
Yeah,
and then
it's got to come down. So that's kind of where it all comes from. Team Iron Man, who, mainly Tony Stark, who feels bad about obviously all the people that lost their lives, which is understandable. Tony Stark literally couldn't care less about any government.
I thought it was some good character development for him to actually care about the people that might be affected.
Anything other than himself.
In the first Iron Man film, obviously he got rid of his whole weapons empire, and that was like a good bit of character development from going from this rich kid that just had a lot of money from what he was doing to going into someone that actually cared about people.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's just carrying on from that. And I think that's a good progression.
Team Cap, which Captain America, Team Cap all the way. Just like to put that out there. Go Steve. We'll get rid of Iron Man.
Team Iron Man is off the table.
So,
sorry guys, I respect anyone that's Team Iron Man, but amongst us three, we're all Team Cap.
Team Cap all the way.
They had one of the Olsens. You can't beat. The Olsens were my childhood.
Chris Evans kills that role. He absolutely kills that role.
Like that scene where he's holding the helicopter and he's just tensing.
Again, physics-wise, and I'm going to be the nerdy one. The bar would have come out the roof. I'm just going to pull this totally apart.
Okay,
It's going to be really annoying with this.
So we're going to carry on. So as I said, it stems from the Sokovia Accords, and obviously James Buchanan Bucky Barnes comes back, even though he was in hiding, and a certain someone blew up a UN building and shit went down again. And
do you think everyone ended up on the correct side?
I agree with Vision being on Iron Man's team.
And War Machine as well.
And War Machine.
That makes sense.
And Scarlet Witch should have been on Stark's team just because she was Vision's friend. They were building like a whole thing between them, becoming closer and everything. I feel like that would have.
I think the main reason she did go on Team Cap side was because of Hawkeye. After what happened to her brother, and Hawkeye was kind of, he was
she
there.
really despises Tony Stark as well. She really does.
He killed, well, not him personally, but his weapons killed her parents.
Yeah, exactly.
But the fact that
It's always uneasy.
Hawkeye was, you know, there. He helped her through, you know, helping the Avengers in Age of Ultron. He was kind of like the shoulder to cry on while her brother was off doing other things. And obviously, when he died, he was there. I think that was what swayed her more than anything, because she has got a really budding relationship with Vision, which we know carries on to something more.
I actually think that's interesting that they built that up and then just to tear it down and to hopefully build it up again.
But it did
because
slowly.
in the comics, I mean, they actually get married, I think.
Yeah, they get married. They have kids.
Which is weird.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. She's banging an android. But when I.
But like an android that can just not exist for seconds if he wants
that's
to.
fine. But when I order a blow up off the internet, apparently
it's wrong.
That's frowned upon. Okay, I got something to say.
Okay.
Spider-Man.
Loved him.
I loved him.
Brilliant.
He is my favourite Spider-Man out of the three, easily.
Yeah.
Because he does seem like what Peter Parker should be, which is this nerdy little teen. His voice is breaking and he doesn't know what he's doing and he's trying to figure everything out.
Sometimes I think with the Tobey Maguire films, it was a bit too serious. With Andrew Garfield, there's a bit more tongue-in-cheek, there's a bit more laughter, there's a bit, and I think that they've stuck with that. They've stuck with more of a funny.
I think Spider-Man in all the films that he's been in is very weepy, and I'm a big Spider-Man comic book fan, and like that is part of it. Don't get me wrong. Like he's very reflective, but a lot of Spider-Man is whenever he's fighting a villain, he talks them to death because they can't hit him. So he's just like every time they miss, he's just throwing an insult at them every single time, and it frustrates them.
I liked where Falcon turned around to him and was like, I don't know whether you've ever been in a war before, but there's not supposed to be this much talking. And he's like, you can just tell how nervous he is, and he's like, there's a scene as well where he's got Falcon and Bucky on the floor.
And he's got
like, and he's like, I'm really sorry guys, but you know, I've got to impress Mr. Stark, and you know, I've got one job, and I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, because he's got a big character progression to go from this. Which is, he's just become into this, and he's just figuring out what he's doing.
I think as well, to criticise Civil War, if I may, this is not just a loving, which I do love this film.
But such great.
To criticise it, I think it suffers in the same way that pretty much every Marvel film has so far, with the exception of Loki. Could you name a villain that is even remotely memorable?
Doc Ock in the second original.
But that wasn't part of the Marvel universe.
No, but it was a Marvel film.
But part of no. Well, I'm saying from Iron Man.
Okay.
And now they've got the Spider-Man license. You're gonna have like the Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Venom, Carnage, like Chameleon, Shocker, all the Spider-Man villains. But if you take all those villains away, I can't think of any Marvel film that has had a memorable villain. Red Skull.
Ultron.
Maybe Ultron.
What I liked about Ultron was that I found him quite funny. The scene where he cuts that guy's arm off, and he's like, oh no, like, he's like genuinely sorry about it. He's like, hey, I'm sure it'll be fine. I found him quite funny.
I think Avengers: Age of Ultron is like Avengers Part 1.5. It's the same. It's the same film.
It is the same film.
I mean, you've got the Hulkbuster. That's different. You know, you introduce Quicksilver and you introduce Scarlet Witch. You kill off Quicksilver because Fox have got the license for the X-Men Quicksilver, and they're doing it way better. So we're just like, kill that guy straight off. Whatever. And then the end is just like, it's a horde mode. You know, you need to play a computer game, and like the last boss, you just have to survive 20 waves of an enemy, and you're like, well, this is shit. And that's exactly what happens in that film. And you can handle it in the first film because it's new, it's something you've never seen before. But then in the second film, it's the same thing again. So when they're building towards Infinity War, I hope we see something different with Thanos, and they're going to introduce all, like, you know, Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be in it, and all this. Captain Marvel, maybe.
They were doing some kind of press release in the US, because obviously over here in the UK and Europe, we got the film about a week before America. So obviously they're doing press over there at the moment. They did doing an interview. I think it was Joe turned around and said, well, you know, obviously we've got loads of new characters, we're going to have Captain Marvel.
And just let it slip.
And he literally, and a fan jumped straight on it and was like, wait, did you just say Captain Marvel? He went, no, I said Captain Marvel. That was his comeback.
Is that what he said?
That was his comeback. And
I haven't seen that. That's
and he
hilarious.
Was just like, and everyone started laughing. And it was just
redaction.
They've also confirmed that Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2 are not going to be the names of the next Avengers movies. Because they don't want to split it into 2 films.
Captain America.
They want it to be
dead.
2 separate films. You say that.
He's dead. He's done.
I do think, because obviously...
Steve Rogers is dead, maybe.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Steve
okay.
Rogers is dead.
But if the rumours are true...
In the comics, Bucky takes over, but does
Falcon.
Falcon takes over as
Yeah.
well.
But what I'm saying is it would probably... Although I love Captain America...
You can see you love Chris Evans.
Yeah, I love Chris Evans.
You love him. But he's going. He's done.
This is the thing, right? So he's just done 5 films.
He's
and he's got
directed.
6. He's got 6, that's his contract. But he does want to do 3 more. If he does do 3 more...
Flashbacks.
No, that doesn't count. Because he was in Thor and...
Flashbacks.
Something else, and he was uncredited.
Well,
so that doesn't count.
maybe because I think the end of Infinity War is the start of like Phase 4 of Marvel's films. So then you've got all the new Spider-Man films, Doctor Strange as well. You would think it would make sense to end the original Avengers films. So no more Iron Man, no more Thor, no more Hulk, no more Captain America, and then you have Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, and you still got Guardians of the Galaxy coming out. Well, I think that might come out before Infinity War. I'm not sure.
Yeah, next year.
And then you've got all these other characters you can play with, and I just hope maybe they get X-Men back, and you can throw Wolverine into the mix.
The thing is with no Thor is that they even had like a mini Easter egg in Civil War where they mentioned, where's Thor and Banner? And it's because they're in the next Thor.
They're in Ragnarok.
Exactly. They're in the next one. Like there is going to be at least one more Thor movie.
I did find that quite funny when the Senator of State was like, if I lost 2 nuclear weapons, then people would ask questions. Yeah, it's got a point. I love that he directs that straight to Steve. It's just like...
Because they sort of fucked off. Remember the Incredible Hulk that had Edward Norton in, which was supposed to build to this, and then they just recast him with Mark Ruffalo. Yeah. But William Hurt was General Ross in that film, so it's interesting that they brought him back after maybe 7 years.
But all in all, I think we can agree it was a pretty,
I'd say
pretty epic film.
Cinematically,
I'd say at least an 8.5 out of 10, maybe a 9.
Also, a lot of the effects and everything like a lot of it that they should have done CGI, the Russo brothers didn't actually want to do. So the scene right at the beginning with Crossbones where the truck crashes into the arch, that was not CGI. They actually flipped a humongous truck and all these fighting scenes and stuff like that. So I think that was pretty. It does. Don't get me wrong, CGI is great, but it's always better when it's a real thing.
From one film with the Black Panther to another, with more green screen Star Wars prequels, and with the director that knows what he's doing, you've seen Iron Man 1, here's Disney's Jungle Book.
If you can't learn to run with the pack, one of these days you'll be someone's dinner.
I can't help but notice there's this strange odor today. Man is forbidden!
Run, Mowgli! The jungle is no longer safe for you.
But this is my home.
Only man can protect you now.
Poor, sweet little cub. What are you doing so deep in the jungle?
You are a man cub who wants to live in a jungle.
How do you know that?
Kid, I got ears. My ears got ears. Only I can protect you.
Forget about your worries in the strain.
What's that?
That's a song about the good life.
He will stop at nothing until he has this boy.
If anything happens to that kid, I'll never forgive myself.
Let's be on our way.
But I'm helping Baloo get ready for hibernation.
Bears don't hibernate in a jungle.
Not full hibernation, but I nap a lot.
First off, this isn't a musical like the original, but it's pretty fucking stunning. What did you guys think of it? Not a fan. He's hugging Steve Rogers still. You're too hung up on Civil War.
I don't want to get caught up on Civil War again, which is at least an 8 out of 10. I'd probably say a 9.
Shall we just move?
Jungle Book. Have you seen the Jungle Book before?
I haven't.
Haven't you?
Well,
have you seen it?
The original. Loved it. Loved it as a kid.
I didn't really watch Disney films as a kid.
Well, if you...
I cried too much. I literally cried I cried at Toy Story.
Did you watch Bambi and then your mum banned you?
No, my mum wouldn't let me watch Bambi.
Your mum wouldn't let you watch Disney films?
No. Well, it's not that she wouldn't let me, it's just that I would cry for like 3 days afterwards.
Disney films are designed for you to cry at. Bambi, you know, when Bambi's mum dies, that's designed.
Spoiler! Spoiler!
Spoiler! Bambi's mum dies.
You're supposed to cry at that, so it gets to use, you know, when like grandma finally bites it, you know what I mean? You're sort of used to it, you know, it's like...
It's a fair point. I thought the cinematography was fantastic. I liked like the CGI, the animal fights looked real. Like when they had...
It looks the bollocks, I'm not gonna lie, it looks great. However, if you've seen The Jungle Book before, you've seen this film.
Yeah, I enjoyed it because I haven't seen the original. So.
It's not offering anything new.
But I would disagree with you on that. I think it's offering a grittier, more realistic version. I would, because
Would you offer that?
I would, because it's not just like a regular Disney musical and like all of that kind of thing.
It's not a musical.
It's not a musical.
It still contains the 3 main songs from the original Jungle Book.
Obviously, because that's what everyone paid to see. But at the same time, they brought it back with the water buffalo stampede, and when he grabs onto one of their horns, and this is like a 10-year-old or something kid doing this in a green screen room. Like it's massively well done.
Okay,
look, so well
the fact that Bill Murray's in it is awesome.
Yeah.
When I hear Bill Murray in a film, I'm rating it. However, like you said, that kid, this poor child, must have felt like he was in the actual Jungle Book because he's on his own, acting to green screens for 13 hours a year. 13 hours a year? 13 hours a day?
13 hours a year?
He wasn't actually on his own. There were actually people in the group.
They had Jim Henson Productions do the whole like puppetry and everything.
Come on.
I think when you look at it from that perspective, the fact that I think he's 12. Awesome. I was about to say, yeah. I think he's
Nothing
12,
but love for that kid.
And the fact that he was acting for 13 hours
minimum
a year, apparently. There wasn't actually any animals there, but he did make it feel really realistic. I think, you know, as long as he stays on the straight and narrow, I reckon it'll be a...
I think the film was, if you've seen it before, you know what it's visually very impressive.
That nowadays, that's...
Yeah, that's
90, not even 90%, like 50% of movies that come out now are remakes.
They're remakes.
That's just...
But that's just a symptom of Hollywood being out of ideas, and it's cheap to produce, and you know and it's not cheap to produce, but you know you've got a built-in audience.
You've already got, this story has already made money. And if you've seen Dancing with Wolves, you've seen Avatar, but Avatar was the highest rated box office.
Do you know how many times I've told people this is Dancing with Wolves, this is Pocahontas, it's the same thing.
I've never seen Dancing with Wolves, I've never seen Avatar. I don't want to because it doesn't interest me, but at the same time, like it made so much money, and like
I think the reason it made so much money was because of the way it was made, the CGI, and then James Cameron coming up with this new way of filming.
It just take down Avatar. I mean, this film came out what 7 years ago, so. Yeah. But this is an ancient review. But it's Avatar. It's not dissimilar to the Jungle Book, to be fair, because it's a lot of CGI. I mean, I did read that just animating Baloo for 1 frame took 5 hours of work, which is ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous amount of time they spend on this movie. So it is a labour of love. It has to be. And, you know, Bill Murray is a great cast.
I do love it when they do films like this though, where they do make the animals look slightly like the actors that are doing the voice, because Baloo does genuinely look a little bit like Bill Murray.
I love Idris Elba as well.
Especially when with the character Christopher Walken played King Baloo?
Louis.
King Louis. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, getting characters mixed up.
I want to be like you.
Exactly. Like, but the guy that was doing the stop motion animation for that did both a mix of the orangutan, and it was like this massive orangutan that existed thousands of years ago. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like just to India, which makes it even ultra realistic. and then he also added a bit of Christopher Walken's characterizations into it. And
you've got Jon Favreau. He watched Apocalypse Now and saw a couple of shots. And was like, I'm going to steal that straight from that film. I like Jon Favreau. Don't get me wrong. I'm not slagging him off. And then you've got Idris Elba being Shere Khan, and like, I'm watching him talk as this tiger who's just like dun, 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 dun. And then every now and then I'm just like, I'm so used to that Sky advert when he's advertising the box sets. So
he's gonna come up with it.
Have you seen Game of Thrones and Sky Plus? And I know that's wrong, but it's the exact same voice, Idris, and I can't help it.
I think the big thing with the director, Jon Favreau, is the fact that I think there was a lot of Disney film fans and stuff like that were a little bit worried about getting him, because obviously I think he's two of his biggest films is Elf and Iron Man 1. It's not exactly very Disney material.
Swingers as well,
like,
not really Disney material. I love that movie.
So I think that was something, but having watched the film, I think for people, like you say, obviously people who have seen the original, they've seen this film. But for someone like me who hasn't seen the original, it's a great film. It is great.
It's better than the version that came out in 1994 featuring Jason Scott Lee. And the only thing I can remember about that film is some dude getting swallowed by quicksand. So I've seen The Jungle Book in like 3 or 4 different iterations, and so it's like, how many times can you watch the same story?
But the animators, like the CGI rendering, was. There's the thing, like but they even took photos of like these indigenous rainforests of India to get like base points, and then like pretty much fully rendered that and had this kid play on a green screen and everything.
Technically, and how well made it is, you can't. That's why it can't be lower than an 8, because it is beautiful. It's a beautiful movie. And my only criticism, and it's such a shallow criticism, is that I've already seen the story so many times that I can't really enjoy it as much because I know exactly what's going to happen, which is true for a lot of things.
I mean, if you go to private school, you probably read a bit of Rudyard Kipling as well. So there's kids that have read it, and I didn't either. But I'm just able
to save us from keep going over the same stuff.
Yeah.
So, watch out, Shere Khan and Shao Kahn.
We're coming for you.
Mortal Kombat, Jungle Book.
Come on, Luther is a random panther. Yeah. Come on, man.
Wildebeests falling into fire.
Hopefully.
How often did you watch The Lion King, Jon Favreau? I know what you've done.
Hopefully, Idris Elba is the new James.
We're just going to ignore everything that comes out of his mouth for the next. But anyway.
Whether it's already out or coming up, here's a few films to watch.
Where am I?
At 6 p.m. yesterday evening, you were executed and pronounced dead. You no longer exist. You're about to enter the Animus. What you're about to see, hear, and feel are the memories of your ancestor, who has been dead for 500 years.
What do you want from me?
Your past. Welcome to the Spanish Inquisition.
It's a class 4 operation. It's okay. She seems peaceful. My name is Erin Gilbert, Doctor of Particle Physics. That stuff went everywhere, by the way, in every crack. Very hard to wash off.
I'm joining the club. You guys are really smart about this science stuff, but I know New York. And I can borrow a car from my uncle.
You didn't disclose that the vehicle was going to be a hearse.
It's a Cadillac!
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh. Did you want to?
Sorry, I'll let you.
Next time.
There's a bigger picture at hand here.
These ghosts can possess the human form.
Is this the real life?
Let me out of here, Donald, please.
Let me out of here, Martin! Is this just fantasy? Come on! Caught in a landslide. No escape from reality.
I want to assemble a task force of the most dangerous people on the planet. They're bad guys. Worst of the worst.
Too late. Open the gate! My time has come. Send shivers down my spine.
Was this cheerleading tryouts?
All the time.
Hi, boys.
Seriously, what the hell's wrong with you people?
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
Nothing really matters to me.
If you've enjoyed what you've seen, then like, share and comment, although we'll probably ignore you. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at the links below.
And thanks to Ben for contributing the lighting assist.
Fuck's sake.
Screw this shit.